Okay, okay, let's see. I haven't done this in a minute. It definitely feels like I haven't done it in a minute either. Um, Let me see here. Should be okay. Everything, there will be some music in just a few moments. Just turned off the video game background music I have because it's not going to get the stream shut down. But anyway, hello everyone. I hope everyone's having a good day, good evening, however you find the stream. I'm experimenting on a new setup, kind of. Um, I have my plushies in the back and stuff like that. Okay. Not sure if you can see them from here. Let's see if the camera does. No, you can't, but they're there. And I got some colored lights in the background because it's it's a stream. Let me see, how's the bitrate doing? Should be okay. It does look like we're dropping some frames, so I'm gonna have to 1 second here. Okay, sorry about that. I need to find a better VPN, I think. But that should solve that issue for now. But yeah, anyway, so I hope everyone's having a good day so far. There's the music coming in kind of awkwardly. It's going to shut off and on a couple times. Sorry about that. Just going to be checking the background, just making sure everything is sorry about that, click in there, making sure everything's kind of balanced. I'm trying to keep the voice, the definitive sound on the stream right now. So excuse me, I got a little bit of, I guess what's effectively very watered down coffee, but it's kind of hot chocolate. Just for this stream. Why I'm streaming, I just kind of want to today. We're getting some more drop frames here. Just double check that. Might have to timestamp that for the the finagling around there. Sorry about that. It has been a minute since I've done this, so I'm super sorry. But yeah, so I got a little bit of hot chocolate, a little bit of a nice comfy chair. I had a pretty crappy week, so I really just want to relax, and I don't know, just feel like sharing it and feel like streaming that feeling that I got right now, which probably is a bit egotistical, so I'm not sure I necessarily need to say that. But I think everybody knows what I'm about by now anyway, right? So what are we doing today? Well, again, the purpose of today is just a chill run because I just don't really feel super motivated to do anything super aggressive. I actually have some plans for some future melee content I'm a little bit excited about. Thinking of a low-level Ganon tier list and stuff like that. Just some fun stuff I've been thinking about to make me feel more motivated. The progress has been going really steady. There's a lot of work to do. I was getting slapped up this morning, but a lot of people that I'm running into on the unranked and ranked and stuff that I'm starting to beat that were beating me before, so it feels good. Progress is always going to be inconsistent. You can never take online super seriously. You know, always keep that in mind. But I still feel like I'm achieving something, which is nice. Oops, sorry. To make sure I lean back in my chair too. I couldn't think of a funny town name. I usually do like a Dark Souls reference or something like that, but today there's nothing coming to me. I kind of like that name. I've done a couple practice runs. Excuse me one second. I'm going to be burping a little bit. A lot of it. Sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. Burping a lot of it. Sounds like excuse me about that. Sorry about that. See how that looks. This game is a lot brighter than I remember. On the plus side, I don't need a ring light or anything right now, so small favors on that. Let's see. Doesn't look like there's an option to turn the brightness down either. Usually the issue with stream is stuff isn't bright enough, so hopefully that's okay. Eyebrows itchy. Keep pretending that I can try to look nice for this, and it's a hollow lie, but it's fun to pretend, I suppose. Yeah, so I've done a couple of practice runs before today, just to make sure I kind of know how to do this, and I'm not gonna immediately fail the first couple times. The first hour or so of playing the stream. That's kind of cool. This has been something that I've been playing more and more recently off stream. I guess just normally I haven't really been streaming too much lately. So you guys can see the map there. This has one of the greatest UIs in the history of gaming. It's really hard to find something that has more adjustability and more I don't know, it's easy use, it feels good to use as well, which is always, I think, more important than it sounds, that kind of stuff. Alright, just getting a bit of the lay of the land. Most of the other runs I was doing, I was actually closer to water sources, or just more substantial water sources. Right now we're just near this pond. Sorry again, I will be coughing and burping a lot, I do apologize. Not sure if I can make them sound all asthma-y and shit, but streaming is fun because you'll catch yourself saying stuff that just kind of seems stupid. It's always a nice way to spend your time, but I've done a couple practice runs of this. I thought it would be really nice to get back into the swing of things. Like I said, melee is going well. So I'm always, it's kind of tough for me to stream and just have the fun that I want to be having while I stream it, and it takes so much energy out of me. But I want to do this. I already did this in a way that I'm not sure I'm happy with, but It's 9x9. Always make sure you put your first initial stockpile away from trees and debris and stuff like that. It just saves it so they don't have to actually take the time to build the thing. It just plops it down and you're done. We'll just start doing a little bit of pre-planning here. Like the first game, you're sort of stuck with a fairly rigid opening sequence. Push this just a little bit up. It's not going to be quite as harsh on the on me, on my eyeballs. But you know, streaming's addictive. It's a lot of fun. It's a good way to express myself around my friends. So I'm not gonna. I like the look of the little. This thing is really cute, but it actually produces usable wood at a pretty inefficient, firewood at a pretty inefficient rate. So I'm not sure it's worth even bothering with that this time. I'm gonna put this here. I cannot tell you how excited I am that I can build roads in some of these buildings. It makes me feel very, I don't know, I just feel nice. Makes me happy. I did some testing on the, I did some testing, and they actually do improve the effectiveness of the building as well, which just makes me giggle on the inside. But yeah, it's a pretty traditional. If you haven't seen Banished before, it's a fairly traditional, well, I guess traditional nowadays. When it first came out, it was a bit more, trying to think of the right word, kind of an unexpected gem, I would say. So the base game is really, really good, really fun. There just really isn't too much to the game itself. You can achievement hunt, which is kind of fun in that game, but it's also, at least in my opinion, not what's really fun about playing the game either. I think the real enjoyment comes from, I think most people would agree, the real enjoyment just comes from letting a town evolve organically in the map as you just as you play it. Like when I played this game, I really sometimes I'll give myself a little, like, I'm gonna build a seafaring seaport town or whatever, or a town that's mostly on water. You know, like little things, like try to theme it so it makes it a bit more. I lost where my when you first started, it's easy to lose your home base, at least for me. I'm a silly guy though, so shoot, what was I saying? There's probably going to be a lot of lapses in conversation and thought as well. Still trying to remember how to structure stuff in my head so it flows okay. If that makes sense too. What was I saying about that? I said something about Banished, I know that. Oh yeah, I was talking a bit about, I've spoken a little bit about the history of this game before, but basically, it was sort of a breath of fresh air for the city building genre. And, the base game is a lot of fun, but achievement hunting isn't super interesting, and it's a lot of, like, get a town with 1,000 people kind of stuff that just isn't a lot of fun for me. Letting a town evolve organically across the map, that's what I was saying, is that's a good soundbite kind of thing. I think that's where a lot of the thrill comes from, avoiding pre-planning and the like. Because of that, I'm going to be playing with a mod called Colonial Charter, which is, I think, a fairly hefty mod pack. It's not one individual mod. It's many, many, many mods put together and put into one. I've tried a couple of um, I guess, widely respected um, mod packs, however you'd want to, basically full, not quite full game remixes, but you know, I just can't think of what you'd call them right now. Completely blanking on that, but basically, you know, something where they put the mod pack together and, you know, you get a different game out of it. I forgot what one of the other ones is. Red something. I forgot that. I do have that one installed, but I just didn't really enjoy it too much. The modding suit for Banished is really good, and there's a pretty insane amount of stuff that can happen with it. Which is kind of neat, and mod support's really good. It's you can basically just, yeah. Oh, red ketchup. This one just didn't jive with me, but I think Colonial Charter is really good. Also, the music that they got for this background is just, it's so good, man. And it's really been one of my favorite, it's really one of the few games I actually play to relax nowadays. One of the few chill out games I have. Excuse me. So, with that in mind, I have decided to do a run of this right now. I might just be doing more of these for the moment. Just for my own personal enjoyment. This ends up being the stuff that I get the most joy streaming, so probably more chill streams like this in the future. There will be more Melee streams, there will be more Melee stuff that I want to be doing, but I want to make a local town. So, with that all in mind, can talk a little bit about the game in the start. If you want to, I guess the best way that I've found to visualize how much content the mod adds to the game. Initially, the options for housing are wooden house and stone house. So this game adds a little bit of choices here. There's also a few theme sets as well, which are really nice. But you can see there's a lot of stuff is added. This is the one that has the best sense of, I guess, sort of a scale for the town as you gradually build up your city, and it lets you. I feel like it naturalistically unlocks objectives for the town in the best way, in a way that Red Ketchup felt a little inauthentic to me, but probably doesn't mean much to a lot of the people here who have never played it. But anyway, while I move on. So the type of run that I'll be doing is called a Adam and Eve run. It's really hard for me not to make really gross jokes about that. But what this type of run means is normally you're going to get a full settlement of people. Well, not a full settlement. I think it's like 4 families, so 12 to 16 people at the start of the game. And that's a pretty hefty amount of, a decent enough amount of resources to get yourself started. In this version of the game, you just start with 2 people. I'm actually going to speed this up here quick. I'm always nervous I may have kerfuffled the beginning here, just because we're seeing a lot of status effects on the people. They should be okay, but we will see here. Oh, I also should, that's definitely going to be hurting the efficiency. But an Adam and Eve run would just be 2 people and a pretty small amount of supplies. It's just the one that I find the most, I get the most joy out of. I think other people have mentioned this as well, especially with this style of gameplay, but it's pretty easy to lose a little bit of interest after a certain, population, certain density. Speed back down there. What do we need? Stone. Oh. It's going to be a minute no matter what. Next thing we're going to need is the gatherer set to be built, so we'll have them get started on that. Because we only have 2 people in the town, one of them is going to be a laborer and the other is going to be a builder. It's just saying what they're going to be prioritizing in terms of choices. Try and do it like that. Builders are going to eventually try to build stuff, which mostly means taking resources that have already been gathered. Laborers, the nice thing is that they're just going to focus on gathering resources. So there's definitely going to be certain points during gameplay where you want that. First thing that you want to do in this game is get people housed, which is not a priority of the United States apparently, so more for less, I guess. Weather and seasons is a very big part of this game, so making sure you don't have anything up here saying people are cold becomes a factor pretty quickly. We are on harsh. No disasters, because I think disasters are kind of I don't know, I just always get kind of annoyed. It just feels like it adds a little bit of extra time to the game. What are you guys doing here? Some of the wrangling at low level while you first start playing this game takes a little bit of getting used to how the AI likes to move around and what it likes to prioritize for work. Should we just have it do that? But once you get them housed and there's a good supply of firewood and food, you're good to go. There's other little modifiers you can add to make people work a little bit more effectively, but for the moment, we're just going to be focusing on getting people fed and keeping them warm inside a home. This gathering point is a little bit far away, but I think it should be okay. Just a little bit of downtime for travel. I'm also forgetting probably one of the more important things for keeping stuff efficient, which is just putting down a bunch of stockpiles. That way they don't have to walk all the way back to this one. So it doesn't even need to be all that big. We could put something like this down, which I think is, yep. Just helps make the initial period of gathering supplies a little bit faster. You can see here, this is going to be food. If there's, I think the video quality may prohibit actually seeing some of the numbers, but this one is supposed to be food. This one is firewood, logs, stone, ores, mostly iron ore, tools, clothes, processed iron, herbs, and getting the sense that might not be necessary to list the rest of them. Definitely get used to the pause function in this game. It's pretty good help. So again, we're gonna make sure the roads get built inside the building because that's why I play these games. Oops. That's fine. Food especially initially, food is always going to be a struggle. This is not a game that's meant to suggest that you're having a relaxed time living in the environment that you're living in. You're supposed to be struggling just a little bit. Once you have a better understanding of how the systems in the game work, it gets a little bit less aggressive, but right now we should be okay, and we're just getting everything set up. I'm going to put this down. I'm not going to start building it quite yet. I will start getting the woodcutter built. Again, the most important resources at the beginning of the game are going to be stored food and stored firewood. Sorry about I'm sure the camera is wiggling quite a bit. Restless leg is kind of a pain in the ass. I'll turn the speed back up then. It usually takes about 3 or 4 years before you start kicking stuff off. A little bit more aggressively too. Actually, also I should build storage, and how storage moves around in this game is pretty important. Same thought process as with the stockpile. We just don't want them to have to spend all their time carrying the food there. And they have to walk all the way back and then get back to the town. So, or I'm sorry, get back to the not business. What do you call them? Whatever, work areas, I suppose. Anyway, now that I've shown a pretty upsetting lack of mastery over the English language, start thinking about expansion as well. We'll start off with a couple of these tiny shacks. Tiny shacks are basically only meant to be used to expand your initial territory, or excuse me, going to be a lot of that today. They're really just used to expand your population quickly because they're very cheap buildings, but hopefully either you upgrade them or remove them and replace them with slightly more sturdy, significant buildings pretty quickly. And it's going to make, just because there's so few people around, it's not going to make the biggest difference, but this food store will make it a little bit quicker for them to gather supplies and such. Street market doesn't need so. I'm trying to make sure that this gets built sooner than later, just because, as you can see, we don't, well, hopefully you can see, I have no idea. We don't really have any firewood stored at the moment. They should be getting to work pretty quickly here on it. The nice thing about firewood is that you can store quite a bit of it at the beginning. Get a nice surplus of it going, and then take that person off the food and get them, or take that person off chopping wood and something maybe more substantial, and save up the let your resources go. Even though it seems like we have a pretty comfortable amount of food, I'm actually going to keep the person on the gatherer's hut. Anytime you build a new building, and when people move in, they're going to be they're basically going to be emptying your coffers of food and firewood. And people in this game are pretty selfish. They will not share stuff even if the person next to them is dying, so it's really important to make sure everybody has enough surplus before you start actually building buildings, or building more homes. So you can see that little bit of road actually makes a difference, which again is kind of fun for me, just a little bit of thrill. When it's just one home, all you really need is one woodcutter, which is really nice too. We will be expanding into something a little bit more elaborate later on, something like a sawmill, which is way bigger, or a water wheel sawmill, which is probably my favorite to use. I think it works the best, or I think it is of all the types most efficient. It'll burn through your wood like nothing else, but aside from that, it's pretty fun. And both of these have the same amount of options, but this one will work just a little bit quicker than this one, I think, because it's connected to a water wheel. I don't know how programmed. There is a lot of stuff in this that's mostly meant for aesthetics as well, so that is important to pay attention to. I'm going to build a forester's lodge right here, which will replenish the wood in the area. There's a small trifecta of buildings here, quadfecta of buildings here. Kind of subtly suggested to build near each other during the start of the game. That one set up. And finally a hunter's post, which should be the last one here. going to we got the fuel limit. Once they hit the fuel limit, we'll put them back on laboring and actually get them started on getting these shacks set up here. The higher quality of building, of home that you have, excuse me, basically just means there's more inventory space, and it uses less of whatever fuel is required to keep the place warm. Initially, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but like these tiny shacks will eat up firewood pretty quickly, so you don't want people using them too much. So another thing I want to be thinking about is a stone gatherer. They just have a set area they obviously gather stone in. Didn't seem like the most exciting purchase initially, but they actually are pretty useful. Just nice to have someone be dedicated to that task, and then not really have to pay attention to it afterwards. So put that there. All right, now. So we have the first tiny shack set up. Gets set up really, really quickly, as you can tell. Try to incentivize all three of these. You really won't get expansion of your population in your town unless you actually have the space for it. I hope with this stream, especially with the chill streams, I don't expect anybody to actually be watching them live during it. But I did see some people filter in and out, so in the off chance anybody is watching, I hope you guys are all having a good day, good evening. I think it's midday-ish around here. I haven't checked the time. Hope it's treating you well. You can see once someone moves in here, they will absolutely drain the resources very quickly. If you're enjoying the stream or VOD, however you're seeing this right now, if you're enjoying it, sorry, repeating myself already. If you're enjoying it, always remember you can subscribe to the channel if you just want to see more of them. I don't really care too much about the success aspect of it. However, what I do care is the cash links in the description, or excuse me, the link trees in the description. A couple organizations that help homeless folks out in my area. I kind of gave up on streaming. I've said this a lot. I've given up on streaming as a way to make money, but I don't know. It kind of takes the heat off of me and the communities I'm part of too. It's really hard to say I'm doing this for clout if I'm always just running cash links on it. So at this point, for me, mostly streaming is just a product of self-expression. I don't really care too much about the rest of it. A lot of my friends who stream, like, not full-time, but definitely as kind of a focal point, or take it pretty seriously, which is completely, I'm not starting up. I don't want to sound like I'm starting out by bad-mouthing that. I just see what it can kind of reduce some of the options in your life, I think. And at this point in my life, I'm a pretty open person, and I think it's just better for me to be doing it this way. Because I really want to be doing something that I feel like is valid content. And I don't think me trying to force myself to be that kind of streamer is going to be fun for anybody. I think it's just going to be really annoying and kind of a slog. This is going to be very important very quickly, and you will see why. Well, hopefully you won't see why, but in the off chance that you do see why, I will explain. Yeah, I think it's Um, I think it's something that I'm pretty comfortable with the ship sailing on them as well. I was pretty bitter initially when a lot of those opportunities were taken from me, to be honest, but I did them for fairly, I think, decent reasons, and I feel pretty comfortable with them, so. I seem to be able to do okay getting by as well, and I think you, as a person, you um, learn to look at those aspects of it as opposed to trying to sit yourself down and focus on all the stuff that you can't do. Like there's some things you're are gonna there's always stuff that keeps you up at night, kind of talk, but I feel like if I do it for this stuff, I'm not sitting there staying awake at night for the reasons I don't want to be staying awake at night. So, um, yeah, anyway, try to move on from that. The small barn. Try that. Only going for the small barn because this food cellar is filling up really quickly. It's so cute, though. Wish you could zoom in just a little bit more. There's probably a mod for that. A lot of these homes, they're fairly simple looking, but they do have a lot of, some of them actually have really nice detail on them. The base models and stuff that you get in the game, something like, this is just the wooden house that you get in the game. They all actually look great. That's the only issue that I have with some of the additions from the mods, is that they're a little, sometimes I can just feel a little bit flat in terms of options and textures. You get the one look and that's kind of it, but I guess the chimney changes sizes too. But okay, so the reason that you want to get the blacksmith built up kind of quickly is because work will slow to just the most poisonous crawl you've ever seen in your life when the people don't have tools that they can work with. It's just horrible. Grabbing these two. It's probably full right here. Need to build a bigger stockpile. Actually, let's see. Add another one back here. Two. That should help out a little bit with some of the clearing away of stuff. So it's really, this is basically one of the most essential buildings to get put down if you want to get stuff done in the game, unless you're wanting to use a marketplace a bit in the future and be a little bit fancy with it. This is your this is the game in town right now. Excuse me. And it's pretty much everything, so gathering is slower, building is slower. Hopefully, well, hopefully not, but you'll probably get a chance to see one of the builders try to work and construct this. And you'll see how painfully slow the process can go without, without tools to use. So this is really important, I think, that, because that's all stone and stuff too. They really won't build anything, or if the resources aren't there and you have something queued up, it can be a little bit inefficient because it seems like the AI gets a little confused. So it's really in your best interest to only have them actively working on stuff when they have the ability to work on stuff, if that makes sense. Otherwise, it does seem to cause some decision lag in them, if that makes sense. Yeah, so until the blacksmith gets it set up, we're kind of just hanging around, so that's the most important thing. We have enough food and probably just enough firewood to get by right now. As you can see, these homes have expanded, and we already have the population, it's already doubled, so it's 4 over 2. They'll all kind of, it seems to be more like one person will live in here and slowly people will just start to be born. I don't know how deep it actually needs to have like a proper couple in a building to actually have kids spawn, if that makes sense. Also, because this is the Adam and Eve run, I try not to think too hard about that. That I'm making it worth talking about it, so we're gonna move on. But yeah, so they're the big thing is just that we don't have a good supply of stone. Stone always seems to be the thing that's tough to get enough of to make sure everything's moving quick enough. So just the one person. Okay, now they're both working on it now. It was just the okay, no, even so, two of them now are. Actually, that's not. It's not as slow as I remember it. Shows you how much nicer it is having two people do stuff in one, huh? You can't have more people building this than are allowed by the amount of builders that can work at the. It's just a little. You'll see here that it shows you how many people can work at a particular location. So even if I had 3 builders right now, there could not be 3 people building this building. Since they're just doing that, I'm not really worried about anything being gathered. I'm going to have the person work on the woodcutter. You can see this is really slow, even with 2 people working on it. One person would be like twice as fast as this with a tool. That's how much tools help out. As in, it's just not really worth putting that much time into stuff unless you want to watch things go very slowly by. So we'll get them to start producing some tools. Rough tools just take log and iron ore. The other one that they can produce right away, is iron tools, which is log and a piece of iron. It seems to produce those much slower, but the iron tools I think last longer. I'm gonna have to double check the wiki later, but I believe they last longer. I don't remember if they offer a production bonus as well. That would be the one thing. There is a way to offer a production bonus, but it would be building a school. We're not quite there yet, so I'm not gonna worry too much about that at the moment. The horrible irony of someone without tools building tools, so it takes a little bit of time. They have pumped a couple out, so we should be okay. I think they're still stored here too. But once they drop them off to the storage card here, everybody's going to grab a crazy amount of tools, and yeah, we'll be all good. Speaking of the storage cart, we should probably upgrade to a nicer barn. We're running the old crappy. Just going to call it the, I'm just not going to make that joke, actually, it's not going to be a joke. Saw some old Facebook posts where I thought it was a lot funnier. I thought I was being a lot funnier than I actually was. Leaves a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth when that happens. Oh, food, right, okay. I'm going to take them off building for a moment and have them... Actually, since we do need the food will become an issue very quickly. Again, because of the way that this game's AI, which I think is a little bit touchy sometimes, seems to work, it's really, really important to have an excess stockpile of food to just make sure that things happen smoothly. Otherwise, it's pretty easy to see people kind of stall and just sort of stand around. Yo, I'd kill for a pizza today, man. It sounds perfect. I cook, I think 6 or 7 days, 5 or 6 days a week probably. And I'm proud of myself for cooking that much, don't get me wrong, but one of the things I miss about my old life is it was all preserved, stuff that could be preserved, so it's all like chips and beef jerky and that kind of thing. Still delicious and tasty, don't get me wrong, but a little bit out of my price range now, as I'm trying to establish more of a nest egg. Unfortunately, in some personal stuff, my snap isn't, it looks like I have to reapply and do a bunch of extra stuff, and it sounds like the whole city is all backed up. We don't need to discuss it too much more than that, but it sure gets annoying. And it takes a lot of work, but having said all that, we have see everything's happening. It seems to be just going a little bit quicker now that we have the tools. The nice thing is once they have a tool that they can use, the rough tools themselves are built really, really quickly. As you can see, it took us maybe an in-game month to get the 30 or 40 tools that they were able to put out. And then the most important thing is you do a little bit of juggling at the beginning with the Adam and Eve runs because you have such a little population. So it takes a little bit of trust in your supply as well. And then just a little bit of understanding, just paying attention to seasons, like understanding that this firewood probably won't go because it's spring, so it's not going to go quite as fast. It is connected to the weather. Excuse me, as well, the temperature and stuff like that. Let's see. Oh yeah, let's get this guy set up because the again, the stone always seems to take a pretty lengthy amount of time to actually get put together. There's little things that we can be doing to make stuff run more efficiently. You see the health is low. I think low health citizens take more breaks or work slower. Either way, they're less efficient. So you want to make sure that people are not walking around on broken legs, I guess. Once we get the stone gatherer set up, we'll start expanding a bit more aggressively too. So like, for example, the base game does not have a stone gatherer, so there's little quality of life improvements like that. I have a little bit of mixed feelings about the stone gatherer just because it's not... I feel like it slightly goes against what the game is about in terms of the gathering, but I also kind of think it's such a nice quality of life improvement, and it takes really just lets you not have to worry about gathering nearly as much as you normally would. So we'll let it slide this time. How about that? I won't tell if you don't. Actually, make sure people are focusing on that too. And we'll start thinking about getting the marketplace going. Only thing, the marketplace is going to need a person operating it, so that's going to take just a little bit of a take a little bit out of the population focus. Let's see. I also want to get some more log cabins, maybe some stone houses, just because the stone houses they barely use any firewood compared to these. At the beginning, they're really nice to get a good setup of them. Obviously, you're going to need a lot of stone for that to work, though. Alright. Get someone there just gathering stone. The nice thing is they will... Oh, that's right. The nice thing is they will... Oops. What do you want? Okay. Nice thing is they're not really creating any stone. It's all just gathering in a area that's defined by the usually fairly easy to see yellow ring. Okay, so that's placed. Let's get the herbalist going. That is another deceptively large boost to the efficiency as well. Again, people are just going to be taking less breaks, so it really pays off pretty quickly, I think. We'll put someone back on woodcutting, just because it's also getting the late autumn, so once the winter starts, no matter what, you're going to be running through more of it than before. We have pretty much this entire area marked out to be cleared, so builders and people who aren't doing anything will just randomly decide to cut a couple trees down or go at some of the stone here. We have our one builder set on the herbalist right now. Definitely, if you want to increase efficiency, one of the more important things I've learned is just making sure that when you put a building down, there's not a bunch of resources in the way, because they will have to clear those resources out. Oh, that's just bad luck. Died during childbirth. That's why you need the herbalist too, because I think it lessens the frequency of those events. Down. That's the more important thing. Yeah, that's gonna slow the. It's actually gonna do a lot to slow this game down, unfortunately. That's okay. What speed are we on? Well, we are on 10 speed, so. Got the stone gatherers just not getting at that for whatever reason. It's all the way up there. They'll figure it out. I'm actually gonna set them getting a stockpile of about 500 for fuel. Actually, we'll just set it to 1,000. They'll take care of it all pretty quickly, and it won't use up as much lumber as you think, and then you can just let it sit for a little bit and focus on other stuff. Yeah, you can see the herbalist is probably going to be the next thing, just because I want to be. Everything's just about increasing that basic efficiency to a certain point. Same thing with the tools, and eventually we'll be making clothing for people too, and you'll see how that contributes as well. Excuse me. Let's see. It's humming away nicely here. Old barn is not being used. We'll tear that down in a second, but I want to make sure we have a few more people just so we can get that process done quickly. The herbalist will take them off of the woodcutting right now, and there you go. Nope. Okay, that's cool. There we go. You can see here too, this is one person with a tool, so it's twice as fast as two people without tools working, and I think that's pretty consistent across the board too. Swallow quite a bit right now. So it doesn't matter if you have a good supply of orbs or healing stuff set up. If you don't have any one of these, they can't actually use them. So it took me a while to realize, like, I'll have a surplus of like 400 herbs or something like that. You're like, why is no one using them, and why is the health so low? So just a little I always forget it thing. I don't know if that helps anybody out, but makes it a little easier for me. And you can see how quickly this thing gathered stone. Just waiting for the drip feed of gathering what was around was pretty slow, but we already have a decent stockpile, even including building the herbalist. Yeah, so we're kind of just hanging out now. We could add some more log cabins here. I think is a pretty good idea. Plenty of variation in the log cabin types as well, which is nice. We have that extra laborer working. I think we're gonna just set them up at the gatherer's hut for the moment here. I really want to make sure we have enough food for all the buildings when we expand them out too. Why would you guys not live in it? It's so weird. I don't quite understand how some of the choices are made. So they're all choosing to live in these tiny shacks when they could live in the cabin. I don't understand why that's happening. We got our first hour done. That's nice. Okay, I should actually. I keep complaining about this to other people, so I want to make it a little bit more about the stream, a more important part of the stream, just to be stretching. Every expert I've seen talk about just basic health stuff when you're doing streaming. It says that you should be taking breaks at least every hour. Because sitting is actually pretty tough on your body for that long. Especially in this kind of way. I'm doing mouse and keyboards right now. It'd be a little bit nicer on the lower back if I was doing controller, but I have not felt like doing a Monster Hunter run yet. I really am interested in getting a group of people together for Monster Hunter to do a regular, like a regular co-op group or something. I really want to do a playthrough of Base World, just kind of a bucket list thing, gamer bucket list stuff. Some basic searches. I love making some weird ass faces into the camera. That's why you get the professional lights and don't don't just use don't just use the with the laptop backlight. Yeah, I keep talking about it in other people's streams and stuff, but it's maybe I'm a little too enthusiastic is what I'll say. But I figure I can at least make it part of my stream. Here's a video I always like to share, just a nice 5-minute thing. Do a bunch of these, going both ways, a couple of these, stretch your hands out, like this, 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 and this. I don't know if that's showed on camera or not. And it's interesting. Maybe the first time you do it, it might not feel all that effective. But if you keep with it for the full day, you'll find that there's just a lot of little tension that's just not there. It's really nice. I talk about that stuff a lot too because I just see a lot of people who are kind of talking about the people who, get the big numbers with streams and kind of have more of a pro vibe. As I just see a lot of the same physical and mental issues and stuff showing themselves. So that's why I kind of want to do this more frequently and make this a more public concept, just because it's pretty simple to just take 2 minutes at the end of every hour to just make sure the blood is circulating in your hands. A lot of people that I know will, if you're on Twitch anyway, they'll run ad breaks at like the end of every hour or something too, and it's just a good 3 minutes is it's almost exactly the amount of time that you want to be doing that kind of stuff too. So it I don't know, it's just kind of, I figure it'd be nice to spread the word, and maybe there'll be a little bit less shoulder pain in the future. Oh, there's a yeah. Like I said, it's probably good I start getting a little more regular with this stuff, because you can feel it pretty quickly. That there, you can see the town is slowly developing. Definitely the ability to speed up time is really valuable in this game. I used to old life stuff, but I would wake up and drag myself to a coffee shop, set up my laptop, and I would play it on like ×1 speed for like 8 hours straight. It's about the amount of time it took me to wake up back when I was well, yeah. It's also, so it's kind of a game too that just has a lot of fondness for me personally. These stretches are just really nice for the stretches are really what get the shoulders loosened up too. So I find I really enjoy anaerobic stretches, but I don't really like what they call them, static stretches. So I always have to kind of feel like I always have to force myself a little bit to do the second half of these stretches here. You feel good after you do them, that's for sure. It also really helps. Like, I get a lot of shoulder blade issues, so that's really the area that gets targeted, at least for me. That helps out a lot. I get very excited about this stuff too, so I know it gets a little frustrating because I'll write a bunch of paragraphs of info about hand health and things like that, and I think it's just there's just too much information, and people kind of just don't want to have to actually sift through it. I'm trying to figure out a way to put it into, like, I don't. I was thinking about making a video, but I think there's like much better videos about consistent health habits for stuff. Um, and that would have been mostly just a fun thing for me to do anyway. But it is kind of, it's, I don't know, I hate feeling like a nag, but it's really important to me. Just simple stuff like this can really help out, help you feel better. A lot of people that I know that stream are neurodivergent to some extent, and excuse me. The thing with that is you're like, for at least the people that are autistic that I've spoken to, you get pretty sensitive to like sensory stuff. So doing stuff like this can just take some of the edge off of, like, I know eye strain especially is always a huge pain in the ass. Excuse me. Eye strain, neck pain, shoulder pain, all that crap. Stress, headaches and stuff. But I think at least some of that can be either avoided or at the very least mitigated. I guess it's mostly as much about just being like, I want to share tips to avoid burnout, but anyway. Also taking a little bit longer. You could already be done and back to the gaming by now if you wanted to. But if you're like me and you're, I guess, a glutton for punishment, you play Melee, it's pretty life-changing. Even with Melee's reputation, I know it's not the only game that can be really tough on the human body. And yeah, that's all there really is to it. Just making sure you try to do something like that every hour. It doesn't even need to be that intense. I probably should stand up and just move around a bit, but I don't think I'm going to be going... If I was going for a longer stream, I would probably do that. I'm probably going to keep it to just a few hours. Playing games like this tends to... playing games like this tend to really eat up the time for me. I can lose myself very easily in this, so... you know, if I go longer, I go longer. But until I'm regularly doing 4-hour plus streams, I'm not really going to focus too much on taking breaks. I also have a pretty bad tendency of, like, if I take a break, the break continues to happen. So it's just a little easier. You know, it's hard to get back into the mindset and stuff like that. Hard to switch gears, you know. I'm not really going to worry about the log cabins because they're not even using the one that's available right now. So maybe it's like new families will default to tiny shacks or whatever as a move between idea or something like that. We're going to keep both people in the Gatherer's Hut. Some work at the Herbalist. Eventually we'll see the health start to improve as well. Herbalist, it's also good just to set herbs. Herbs I think also include, in this game, is going to include, yeah, just medicine in general, so give it a nice big windfall if we ever get one too. Now let's get that speed cranked back up, because this is it's just letting stuff happen for the most part. This this opening took a little bit of time for me to figure out. I don't think this is an especially challenging game, but definitely getting comfortable with some of the mechanics and how you start to build stuff up took more time than I expected. Feels nice to have a good sense of, I don't want to say mastery yet, like I still struggle with using markets and stuff, but being able to get a little bit of just an increased understanding of the game always feels really good. And you can see just the one gatherer's hut right now is just, even with just 2 people at it, with a fairly full forest that it's occupying, because it will produce more based off how many forest tiles are in this. It does an okay job getting enough food. You can also show this little black button here is going to show you what the productions were. And it's about, I guess for comparison, again, if you guys can see the numbers, for comparison, it's about 100 food unit per citizen per year. So as long as you're producing more than 100, the building is effectively at least breaking even. How efficient that is a little bit trickier, but, you know. Right now we're just waiting for the population to increase, basically. You can see, even through that winter, then the health started going up because we have the person at the herbalist, so they're able to take a little bit of time to actually heal themselves. And again, hopefully that will include less effectively randomized accidental deaths. Let me see here. I need some like licorice or something to. I'm not sure why my tongue stuck out, but just to get the throat a little bit slimy and greasy. It's a little dry right now. I think the humidity is still pretty high. I like where I live. Yeah, I'd say, especially, you know, I basically like where I live. Especially as I continue to warm up to where I live and all that stuff, but it's pretty tough. I remember moving in here thinking, you know, this should be the tough year for it to be unseasonably warm, extending very far into the fall, and unfortunately that is what we got. And not only has it been pretty warm, most of the days have been excessively humid. So it's I feel personally like I don't necessarily have the best luck. So it, to me, is not a big surprise, but it is a little frustrating, I'll be honest. We have one person set up building and they're not actually building anything. I just realized that. We're gonna get the hunting cabin. The herbalist and gatherer's hut basically both work the same way. The more forest tiles in this spot, the more efficiently they'll be able to gather resources together. The hunting cabin is a little bit more. It seems to be based generally around total tiles that are available that are open, and that also includes forest tiles. So the only thing that will prevent hunting cabin efficiency will be putting it in, basically surrounded by buildings or something like that. But otherwise, it'll, you know, trees or not trees, it'll basically gather at the same rate. The reason that you want to start out with the gatherer's hut, I'm waiting for this to make some babies, guys. Come on. While I'm waiting for them to get it on, as the saying goes. The big difference between the hunting cabin and the gatherer's hut, at least initially, is just how it injects food. The gatherer's hut, again, if you can see the numbers here, you'll see sort of a slow drip feed that happens, just like 20, 40, whatever, how much they gather at once will appear into the gatherer's hut. If you go into the hunting cabin, you'll get stuff in big chunks of like 200 at once, because just because of the idea is that they're different gathering methods. So gatherers are going to get a nice drip feed of different types of veggies and you know, herbs or whatever, roots and stuff like that. Seeds, ginger, roots, mushrooms, blueberries, onions. And then the hunting cabin is going to be getting individual kills of deers. There's just different ways that the resources are acquired. Yep, still waiting for. The morale's really low. I think that might still be from the death as well, which is a little bit frustrating. Fortunately, we're entering late autumn, so it's more more snow right now. Soon though, it's gonna pass. Stone gatherer, gatherers who. Server food is low. I think we're okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. Oh, that's an old, never mind. Old, very old event update. Okay. Take them off that for now. Put someone on the woodcutter, just because they're going to be using up at least some wood, especially these tiny shacks. I don't know why they're not moving. At this point, probably be more efficient to do this, because that forces them to switch to the log cabin right now. And yep. We finally have another adult now. We're going to immediately set them on the blacksmith because we're running a little bit low on tools. And as you saw, you probably remember still the just having, even if the blacksmith doesn't have a tool and he's trying to build them, it's going to take some time. So better safe than sorry. Get a nice surplus of tools built, and then you don't got to worry about it for a little bit. I think we'll start focusing on these cabins here. I think the quality of home affects happiness too. Can't imagine these shacks are all that nice. So we can force them to move into there now too. Nice, relaxing qualities of this game. Some people have Animal Crossing, I have Banished. And sometimes Diablo 2. So that's Monster Hunter. Sometimes Melee's relaxing too, but not very frequently. Mostly this game. I'm also pretty excited because there's a local group that builds and supplies air purifiers to people who are really poor like me, and they're adding me to the Sigma group. I'm very excited, but the big thing that I was thinking that I could be doing to help them too would also be involved in fundraising. So I'm really excited, and hopefully actually. Well, I guess best case scenario would be that there's the government starts sending you air purifiers and air filters and stuff, but that's probably not going to happen. Just don't need two people on that right now. That would probably be the best case scenario, but it's probably not going to happen. But having said all that, best case scenario, you'll probably see me doing pretty focused streams for them then. That is kind of my plan, was to go pretty hard to try and help them out. I think it would be a pretty easy stream goal as well, because there will be very definitive goals. We can get numbers and stuff for how many. I think it's right now for them it would be for the high quality material and stuff. It's about $40 for a filter, that kind of thing. Just being able to keep track of that stuff. I'm sorry, for a full purifier. Individual filters, I think in bulk would be like $12. But I was doing some research on cheapest places to find them. Stuff. Things getting worked on right now. Hunting cabin isn't super important just quite yet. Actually feeling a little paranoid, so we're gonna put someone on the gatherer's hut too. We'll just leave that one person to be building. You can see they do okay, even just one person here right now. We have a surplus of about 50 tools that we built up from that last one. Sorry, that little, I keep thinking I have cat ears because there's that little triangle of light in the back. It's been making me laugh. Let's see here. Yeah, we will get that hunting cabin focused out after we get some more of these log cabins. Still not gonna put, the big thing with the marketplace is it just be another person right now. We just still need to get that population up. I wonder if it's, how much is a schoolhouse? It's pretty cheap. We'll throw down on one of these schoolhouses too. It's better to get the schoolhouses set up early. So education provides pretty substantial bonuses to production efficiency. I think it's like even someone who's a woodcutter that has that is educated will produce like 2 instead of as 2 over 1 or something like that, as opposed to 1 to 1. So pretty significant benefits there. We're starting to figure that out. Just gonna get rid of that. Force him to move into log cabin, which is gonna hopefully make him a little bit chipper. Chipper than that. Alright, what else do we wanna? So I really like getting a decent supply of bricks going sooner than later. So I'm gonna put a couple of these shore houses down. Shore houses have multiple uses as well. They can also gather the resources. They just have pretty nice building overall, and then it's also an expansion building. Alright, well, a building from the that Colonial Charter mod pack. We'll build 2 right now. I'm actually gonna have them focus on. We'll let that sit for now. We'll just keep that in the pre-planning phase. But yeah, education and tools I think are the 2 biggest bonuses to efficiency you can have. So they're both really important to get set up on. It's focusing on what right now? I think they must be doing that, huh? Yeah. I also want to get this apiary set up. Probably could keep it a little more thematic and put the apiary around all this stuff here. We'll take you off of that for now. Just gives us another laborer who should be doing stuff. Want to make sure we get these set up quick. Gatherer set, stone gatherer, barn, herbalist. So again, I hope everybody's having a good day. Just a nice little stream to enjoy streaming. stream to have some fun. If things that went a different way, it definitely would have been a pretty intense passion of mine to be a streamer, but unfortunately I was never really in a position to jump on that. Never stable enough. Stone. This guy's kind of still moving a little bit slow here. Maybe the stockpile should be on this side. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. Okay, apiary set up there. Hunt cabin. Let's see. Probably should wait for the schoolhouse. I think the only toss-up is that, like, since people still live the same amount of time, there's more lag between them being children to them being adults that can actually work, because they have to enter the student phase then. Oops, someone's there. You can see we're low on food. We also it's also because we added a couple extra houses too. That there's going to be that initial dip as people fill up the coffers. So she take them off that, so both people will be on the gather set. Herbalist is ticking away nicely. You can see we've gone from 3 hearts to almost full hearts now. Excuse me. We'll let these get set up here. The Forester Lounge then is it's a pretty it's a sensible but very satisfying combination then, because you'll have the Gatherer's Head, Herbalist, and the Forester Lounge all producing kind of together, helping each other out. Because the Gatherer's Head's also going to help remove different small things that are going to be affecting tree growth, so it'll make the tree growth more efficient too. Excuse me. We still have a pretty healthy amount of firewood right now. Again, the big thing that I'm trying to focus on is just getting the population expanded so we have more people to start doing stuff. We'll get there soon enough, don't worry. What did I have focused on being built right now? It's not the hunting cabin, is it? What are you doing right now? You're not building anything, that's for sure. Well, while we're waiting, let's just have to get that church set up. Schoolhouse, excuse me. Well, we have both people in the gather set, so hopefully that low food reserve thing will leave us alone pretty soon. Eventually this decision-making process will happen a little bit more. There'll just be a little more to see soon, to hopefully. Right, okay. Starting to get a little hungry too, which is good. That's part of the reason I wanted to stream, is just burn off some of the extra energy I've been having lately. But it is going to mean I'm going to want to eat soon. I'll probably shoot for another half an hour here too, if anybody's hanging out. Starting to get some more folks aging up into the workforce there. Still doing fine on firewood. Food is fine, but it feels a little touch and go because we keep getting the warnings for it. That's just because we're building on the houses again. Tools are fine. Hunting cabin is not a big rush on that either. The hunting cabin is going to be the easiest way you can get clothing, though, at least at the beginning of the game. And we'll probably get to that in a second here. Do that. A little early for the schoolyard, but I really like the economic bonuses you get from it. It's probably just a good idea to get started on this too. So, as I briefly discussed with the hunting cabin, kind of what makes it cool is you're not going to be getting food nearly as efficiently as with the gatherer's hut, but you get auxiliary resources from it. I can show you a couple of them. The biggest one is going to be leather, though, which, as I think it's pretty traditional in most gaming, we'll be using to set up. We'll be using at a tailor to start getting some clothes. This is going to make it so people can spend longer times outside without having to take breaks and stuff like that. So it's another, what you call it, probably. It's another productivity boost. I don't believe it is as significant as the tools or things like that overall, like pound for pound, but it also kind of feeds into the both the happiness and the health as well too. So it's just overall it's just a win. It's one of those. It's kind of like getting a blacksmith set up. Eventually you're gonna have a tailor shop. So unless you're doing some weird run where you don't want people out, or no one's wearing clothes or something like that, which I can definitely believe people have done in this game. We'll wait on the apiary. Forester's Lodge isn't necessary. We still have a really good supply of logs right now too. Yeah, we'll get the tailor set up next there. Just try to get that focused down. We only have one builder right now. We only have one person who's free. We have one student, so that eventually that student will be producing stuff at a much higher quality. And I think it goes for just everything, like gathering, hunting, or like anything that they're doing. It'll just be more efficient. Either take less time or produce more resources. I'm probably gonna actually, while I'm getting lunch, jump on the wiki for this game and make sure I'm saying all the right stuff here too. It's a pretty simple game overall. That's why the mod scene for it is really nice, because it lets you it lets the game feel a bit fuller, and a lot of the, like for example, I think Colonial Charter really does feel like sort of a next step in the process kind of thing. So just having a game where it feels like just this mod really does kind of feel like a solid expansion pack, or sort of another like the game doesn't feel directly changed or all that different, which is really nice. It feels like the goals and stuff and like what the game is trying to say and do are all still the same. It's just got more options and a little bit more of a late game to it. I mean, that's probably the big thing with base. I keep saying like base world is where I got that, but that's probably the big issue with base banished. It's just that you get to a certain point where you're sort of incrementally just expanding the size of stuff. You know, you're getting a bigger population and things like that. There's just a very definitive point when you're kind of done doing things. And then it's more just about, you know, once you've got all the systems figured out and everything, and you're just very relaxed. Doing your little simulations, as they call them in the game. Anyway, so they'll also, so you can see here, leather is going to be what we can use to convert into hide coats. Venison is just a secondary resource. Bone meal is, I forget what bone meal can be used for. I usually sell it, but I think it's a soft construction tool or something like that. Sure if we have anybody we can pull off of anything. We probably need more. Excuse me, sorry, my throat is very dry again. We probably just need more leather overall stored before it's really going to be important to have. Excuse me, sorry again. Before it's really important to have. Before it's really important to have someone actually spend some time at the tailor shop. Just be a little bit more efficient because they'll have more work to do before we switch them back. I believe all food qualities are basically the same. Like one food is one food no matter what. I think it's through the process of production or refinement that happens that you'll get the venison one. Venison and the salting house are two ways we can get refined food that just has more more options in it, basically. More efficient food types and stuff too. Yeah, we'll wait on that. We still need to get some more stuff set up before we can be really aggressive with it. I think we'll take that, turn that off, take them off of that, and we'll get started. Hide coats along with the rough tools, they just don't seem to last very long. So ideally you're moving beyond them as a potential resource sooner than later. Just still hanging out. Wait, am I building something? I'm not building anything right now. So we're going to want to get the shore house going. The next step that we need then is going to be a lumber yard of some type. I think it's just a better investment overall to just go for the sawmill than try to build up from the saw pit personally, and that's just how I'm going to be doing this particular run. We'll go for the rustic top on it. It's usually a good idea to keep sawmills where you expect you're going to be gathering a lot of wood. So actually I'm going to put this one here because what is going to end up happening is it is going to be this is going to eventually be near a I'll keep that open right now. This is going to be eventually near a forester's lodge, and that's really where you're going to be getting the steadiest supply of lumber in the future in this game. So, or not lumber, they call them logs in this, and then lumber is produce processed logs and all that. Okay, so how many coats did we get of that? We got 6 coats, so it's all good. We'll leave them there for a little bit longer, just in the off chance we get another hunting thing going. Doesn't look like that's going to happen though. I don't think we have feathers or anything either. Sometimes the hunting cabin will get ducks and stuff, so you'll get like feathers and it's just duck meat in this game, but looks like that's on the cards for us right now. Alright, well, you can get off that. What's going to happen with that right now? Probably dig clay and put someone there. And that should be okay-ish. Yeah, still on 10 times speed. This is, I think this opening's a little bit slower than the ones that I've usually played the past couple days. Damn it. Oh, alright. Oh, I can take someone off of something. Alright, we'll take this guy off of that just for now and put him at the gatherer's hut, because that is such a consistent source of food. We really do need that set up. Alright, so we're going to get a supply of lumber set up right now. But we're not going to have them working too long. Lumber's going to be we'll get a lot of lumber really quickly with just with the logs that we have with this sawmill going. It produces stuff really quickly. Need eventually that too for the brickworks. The lumber, you can set this thing up on lumber for like 2 minutes or something. Well, I guess it'd probably be like a month or so of in-game time, and then you'll have more than enough lumber for a pretty good amount of time, unless you're using lumber as like a resource for something else. And they're building that right now. Have to wait on the clay to get dug. Let's get the forester's lodge set up then too. They can both plant and then cut down stuff. Probably get the marketplace set up sooner than later then after that. Oh, sorry, restless leg strikes again. Okay, how much do we have on me? I think that's a good enough start for now. I'll take them off of that. Yeah, it's just going to be the other... Oh, that's right. Right? Okay. Not sure what my brain was telling me there. Put them there. They can do both cut and plant. We'll probably keep them on both right now. They don't really aggressively start cutting stuff down in the in this area if both are selected, unless it's like pretty decently full. I don't know quite what the AI prioritizes in those situations, so. So right now we're going to try to keep someone in the hunting cabin just because we really need that supply of leather right now. Another person there, they can take that 10 leather and make at least a little bit of clothing out of it. Okay, and then we're going to get a stacks burner, because a stacks burner can make charcoal, which is good for firewood. So let's probably put it here. And charcoal is a more efficient housing resource for fuel and stuff like that too. So it's definitely a worthy upgrade. We'll start using way less. It'll be just way easier to keep your fuel supplies doing okay. You'll see it make a pretty big difference pretty quickly. Just make sure that we have enough people getting food, because food is probably the most important thing in the game by a pretty wide margin. They're already done with the tailoring, so put 3 people there. Get the sax burner going. And once they're done building that, we're going to put someone at the blacksmith here, really quick to just get a nice surplus of tools. Then we'll have someone at the stacks burner kind of soon here. Let's see. We're going to leave him at the gathering post right now, because I want to make sure we can actually get enough stuff together sooner than later. The chipping sound of them making the rough tools there too. Actually, we're gonna try it for something like a wood storage. So specialized, yeah. Something like that just for lumber. Not sure why that makes me so invested. Okay. And tools get built up really quickly. That's always really good. We'll try to carve away at the trees in the area. Now that we've got that forester set up, it should be a little bit easier to just make sure we have a consistent amount of trees in this area. Just like I said several times now. And the schoolhouse is a little annoying when you first build it, just because I think it adds a lot of lag to the children basically aging into being adults that can produce, but it will happen soon enough. Put them on that, making charcoal from the 5 logs that we got. Again, it's a much more efficient burning resource from what I understand. Something like the firewood is probably going to end up going to something that's like a furnace fuel thing. Down like that. Actually, I think I'm also going to have a small storehouse section here. Like that. Oh, that produces a lot of charcoal. Let's see, what else do we got right now? See, with 3 people on that, we are starting to get a little bit more comfortable with the amount of food that we're producing. We'll leave someone on labor right now, just I think it'll help get us some more logs. Logs are such a central resource in this game that, especially in the early levels, it's just really important to make sure you got enough of them. Looks like we can safely put some more log cabins down too. Yeah, I left them gathering, that's right. Okay. Well, so we've got about 10 minutes left here for today's stream. We're gonna make some waffles or something then too. Try and find what food I can make that has vegetables in it, because I have not eaten a lot of vegetables past couple days. Oh, that's really one order. Well, see if I can get the money together for that. Not the most exciting beginning here. That an early death there really took a lot of the wind out of our sails for how much production we could be doing. Take them off of that, then. Hide coat. They're probably going to be done with the hide coats before you know it, because we're not getting quite that many deer picked at yet. We do have some feathers and duck meat. I wonder if we can actually make any of these survival coats. Don't know if we have enough of either. Cabin, apiary. I'd really like to stream some more Manor Lords, but the game does not work on my computer. With the, I guess the graphics card I have, it doesn't play nice with Unreal 5. And I'm also a little sore at the, there really isn't a roadmap for that game. And I feel like the early access hasn't really been very satisfying. It's taken them, I think, the better part of 6 months to add, like, pigs to the game, which just really isn't very, I mean, there's the only on-screen enemies right now are mercenaries and stuff that the enemy hires. So it would be nice to see some infrastructure of the enemy, even if it didn't do anything. It'd be nice to see some infrastructure on the map somewhere that would be at least giving the impression that you're playing with something else. So I hope that they get a better handle on what they want the future of that game to be, because I feel like it's I don't know. I'm not happy with how long I've had to wait for anything to really come of that, to be honest. Like, we don't really need systems like fishing or butchers right now. We need a definitive, like, what is the actual gameplay of the game going to be, and it's just hasn't. I just feel like we haven't really gotten a good explanation yet. But we'll see. We'll see. You know, they could be sitting on the update where it adds all the extra crap that I'm not even that I've been talking about right now, and they're hiding it. It's really frustrating. They put a Hooded Horse is the development or the production studio, I think, and they produce a lot of really good strategy games and stuff. Against the Storm is also them. Cataclysmo, I think, has done pretty well so far as was one of theirs, and they were releasing a lot of interviews and stuff about, like, this is why we think this particular model of early access is the best. And honestly, I gotta be really frank with you, the Manor Lords dev kind of just shit all over the bed on that, because it's really just been a very completely uninspiring process, and it definitely, I still get the sense listening to and reading stuff from that particular guy, that he's in way out of his depth, because it just doesn't feel like there's a good direction it doesn't feel like there's a good direction or good future for the game yet. But prove me wrong, right? Excuse me, sorry about that. Oh, we just suddenly got a bunch of people who graduated. That's nice. See, now things are interesting. We're almost done with the stream. So it's gotta go, I guess. Okay, what do we want to get started on? We'll get someone at the Forestry Lodge. Gonna get the apiary set up. Get 2 people on that right now. Probably get another person on the Gatherer's hut. Once we get a little bit more food and it's not 666 for the stored food, we'll get someone on the Stone Gatherer too. Give that a little bit of time. Gonna have to, okay, these houses will start getting built up too. Yeah, the apiary is the one I want to get started on. Apiary also has the most fun design you can build for the road on the inside. I don't know why, but I remember when I first played this game, I thought the apiaries were really cool, so I did a lot of testing on them, and that's where I learned that the roads inside the buildings are actually really, they actually really do help with the efficiency in this game, so it makes it a lot of fun for me, because I just like building roads in games. I'm not really sure why. Manor Lords is very, very good. It's just very not done. Very, very completely unfinished, and it's a little. It. I feel like I've had a lot of rough experiences. Multiverses, Dark and Darker, a couple of other either early access, free to play light adjacent kind of games, and I don't know, man. I don't know how people have been playing video games in the modern era for this long because I don't see how you could be that excited. I've been seeing some other like some people have been playing that. Like I don't want to badmouth the game too much, but Rika is where you play someone who lives in a chicken walking house, a Baba Yaga style house, and that's really cool. But the game is it's got like 10 missions, and there's clearly no like roadmap for what the gameplay is actually going to be in the future. It's just kind of got the story and the game there. But like, so you can walk in the chicken house will actually walk, right? And that's pretty amazing. But you can't do anything with it, and it doesn't ever seem like there's going to be any. It doesn't seem like there's really a future for that system in the game. I guess that's something that I feel like I've been seeing a lot of recently with early access stuff is like, and I suppose Tale is old as time, right? Because people have been complaining about these things for a while, but um, I I don't know. It's maybe just because it's all very fresh for me too, but it's just really frustrating to see all these seemingly great ideas and games and systems basically just seemingly lose all this the head whatever head of steam they built up right after the money gets sent to them basically. On two, just need to get those stones together. The apiary is very, very nice. It doesn't produce a crazy amount of food. They'll just break even, I think, if you have two people working at it with like brick road in it or something, which is the most effective type of road. But it also produces beeswax, which you can use at a candlery, which is really, really nice. It's just a really easy to access, sellable resource that you get really quickly. Oh, actually, you know, I'm probably gonna have to call it for this one right now. We'll do a nice overhead view here. You can see the map of what we tore apart. A little bit slower than what I'm used to again, but and unfortunately we're just getting the population boom as we're about to take a break here. But here's what we've established from just two people so far. So pretty fun run. I actually kind of wish I could just. This is probably the most exciting part for me is when you first get that initial population boom, and then you can really start making some extensive extensive infrastructure and get things going. But I don't want to burn myself out too much right now. That's just excuse me. It's just something that's really important for me, and I want to keep this calm. And I'm a little worried that if it gets past this, I'm going to start getting a little bit snide and snippy, and we don't need that right now, no sir. But I want to thank everybody for if you stopped by or you caught the VOD at all. Which is totally fine. Again, I'm mostly doing these now just to get the VOD set up because I think that's more how things are going for me. But I appreciate if you ended up watching, if you ended up hanging out. Remember, Gengar says self-care is for cuties. Please take a little bit of time to take care of yourself today if possible. I promise that you're worth it. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a good rest of the day. Thanks again. Hopefully there'll be more stuff pretty soon. Like I am looking for some work now officially, finally. But until then, I think this is probably going to be the thing that I'm setting my schedule around a little bit just to give me something to do and keep moving. Being able to do it for charity too just gives me it just feels a little bit nicer, even if it's not that much money that I'm getting together. Just like to feel useful, that kind of thing. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Aside from that, I hope everybody has a really good rest of your day. Take care. I'll catch you for the next one.